Hi, this is Tim Spikowski from King's Hobbies and Games. I'm continuing my little tutorial here on painting Mulit-Cam on a 20mm Elhiem figures. I've got the colors that we're going to be using next, and what I'm going to be doing with these figures is start really working on the highlights of the khaki uniform. The base color was khaki, and we're going to just start building up from there. I've got colors Old Wood, British Tinker Highlight, and for one of my lightest is Vallejo Dark Sand. I try not to use strict white, but only on extreme edges. White just really, well, it makes things too white in my opinion. I don't know what other words to use. So okay, I use a wet palette. And in the other video, this paint was actually from last night. Paint is still wet, so it gives me the opportunity to still work on my base colors that I have. I still have my shades, and I just have a working surface that I can go back to. Looking at some of these figures, I do see some areas that I want to just add a little bit more dark to. From part of the pre-shading or the shaded base coat. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take some Vallejo khaki here, and I'm going to, let's see, I'm going to take some dark blue black wash from Secret Weapon. I'm going to put it on here. And it looks like I have some brown still left from yesterday. So let me see if that's still workable. I got water here on my wet palette. I'll start mixing. Yep, see? Wow. This is 24 hours. Okay. So I've got a nice darker khaki color here. And I'm going to apply that to some of the darker areas where the shade's going to be. I'm going to zoom in so everything is going to be in focus. I'm learning as I go with this video, with doing these videos. So just bear with me. I will get better as I learn what works and what doesn't work. It can be damn frustrating. My hat's off to all these guys that have been spending their time making videos for everybody, because it's time consuming. It can be a pain. So again, I'm just putting some more darker color in areas where I think needs it again, that I may have missed. And again, I paint wet. I paint very thin, so it's always easy just to go right back and apply the paint, and if I don't like it, if it's too dark, I can start building up again. Trying to build definition here. Trying to make this, I want to make this figure look interesting and the colors look interesting. Not just a base color of khaki and then a brown wash or a black wash and then call it a day with highlighting or with dry brushing some highlights. That's easy. I mean, that's real quick. There's nothing wrong with that. However, I try to do a little bit more. And these miniatures will most likely be photographed for Elhiem's website. So I'm going to do some more detail work in them, make it more interesting, and show people what can actually be done with these figures, painting wise. Again, I'm just applying that darker color. Okay, I'm going to start going back up to start working on those midtones again. Midtones can be challenging because you don't want to go too dark, you don't want to go too light. Just have to find that happy medium. Again, I'm still at the stage that I'm not too worried about getting things to look as good as I'm wanting it to, because we're still going to be doing a lot of shading, glazing, pin washing, which will start really tying up getting the figure to where I'm wanting it to be. Okay, so now I am going to start working on building up on the highlights here. And let's see, again, my base color is Vallejo khaki. So I'm going to put that out right over here. And, just to make things simple, I'm going to start using the premixed colors. And so this is Vallejo Old Wood. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to find a medium here. I'm going to mix these two colors together so there's a smooth transition. Get my filbert brush. This is a size number 2 filbert. Okay, so I'm going to start going on the edges again, looking for areas where the light's going to be hitting the most. Now, because this is going to be multicam, a lot of this is just going to disappear. You're not going to see a lot of this detail. So I found the best way to illustrate and make the figure sharp is by highlighting the edges a little bit more. And so then also you'll see we're going to do a couple washes, and even though it may look like it's very bright right now, those washes will dull that color down. So I'm starting to go a little bit slower. Now I am picking out the edges and the details. I apologize if this is out of... I keep forgetting that I'm videotaping this thing. Okay. I'm so used to just doing. So the light's hitting right up here. Knee pad. Make a nice line there. See, there's a difference. I can go back and do a lighter, start working on making it a little bit lighter. Not too light though, but to show that there's a change in color. In fact, that's bothering me. So I'm going to go straight back to my base color khaki, and then I had a earth, game color earth is my mid-tone. I'm going to add some of that. You know what? I need to put some out. I love Vallejo game color. It's nice and thin. It works great for these applications. I'm not trying to go too light. Paint is very, very, very wet, so I need, using my Broken Toad #2 brush right now to help me get in a little bit more finer detail here. Building up those layers of color. There, that's better. Okay. Now I can move back to what I was doing so I don't forget. Still got that medium transition here of the khaki and the Panzer Aces Old Wood. Just putting that highlights around those edges. What's going to help break this up is when I paint the flesh tones. So it all looks like one color, and it's actually, to my eye, is even confusing. You're going to learn as you paint, you know, just because it looks like a certain way now does not mean that that's how it's going to be in the end. That it's a process, that's a stage. There's different stages of it. And when you get used to working with the different products and the different mediums, you know what it's going to look like. So don't get worried, like, oh crap, I messed this up. This is going to look like shit. Well, you know what? It might at that point, but with some patience, you can recover. I sure hope you can see this. Okay, so I've got some more highlights there. I'm going to start building some more. So I'm going to go start, I've made the transition from khaki to old wood, so I'm going to add more old wood in there to brighten that up. What does that look like? And I'm just going to start going over areas where the lights would hit the most. Getting the edges here. It's too much, so I just wipe my finger with it.